Welcome back. End of this video, you will be able to explain what is a constructor and how we can use it and why we should use it. So let us see what is a constructor. So constructor is a special member in a class. We have seen classes with different kinds of members. We have seen data member. We have seen member functions. Now we are going to see a special member in a class and we call it as a constructor. And the special thing about a constructor is it has got the same name as a class. So whenever you see a member in a class where it has got the same name as a class name, you should remember, you should identify that is a constructor. And it has got the name constructor because which is going to construct the value for the object. Its basic function is to assign the values for the objects. And this is called automatically. This is invoked automatically whenever you create an object. So let us see the thing where you can find a class. So class called a. So and this is your main function where you have created an object of class a. We call it as a1. And whenever you create an object of the class, a constructor is created. If you don't do explicitly, your compiler is going to do it. So let us see more about this. So you can see again now a class called a, and let me repeat, constructor gets called automatically for each object this is created. So where you can find a class a, so this is class a and this is your main function. So what we have done is we have created an object of class a inside the main function. So when I do this and constructor is created, and remember it has got the same name as the class name, and it may take parameter or may not take parameter. If you look at the bracket at this stage, at this point, the constructor which is created is not taking any parameter and it does not return any values. This is another feature of constructor which will not return any value. And let us see what is the syntax for this. So you have to give the class name, as you could see in the example where a is the class name. Then you have to give the parameters if any. So this is what an example for that where you have written in the program. Okay. So please remember, whenever we do create an object in the program, the constructor is being called. So what the constructor does, we'll see in the next slide. So please remember it appears as a member function of each class, whether it is defined or not, which is going to be a member of the class. That's why I told this is going to be a special member function. And already we have seen data member and member function, and the constructor is going to be a special member function. It has got the same name as your class name and which will not return any value and which may or may not take parameters. So let us see what happens. So whenever we create an object, constructor is called separately. So think that you have created three objects. For all three objects, the constructor will be called. This will be called by the compiler. If you provide a constructor, which will be called. If not, the compiler is going to create a constructor implicitly. So look at the first case where there is no constructor is given by the programmer. So this is what the class. So we have a class. Now this will be converted into a format where there is a constructor. So this is what the constructor. This is done by the compiler explicitly. Excuse me. And when there is a constructor is prototype, we need to define this. So this is the place where it is defined. So please remember, when you write a class in this format, this will be converted into the other format where there is a function or prototype for the constructor, and this also gets defined outside the class. This is going to be done by the compiler. So now let us see what happens when I write the statement when I create an object. So look at again the main function where I have created an object of the class A and I named it as A1. This is what my class. For the class I have created an object. So when I do this, this statement will get converted into a form A1.A. A1 is my object dot A is my class. So this is nothing but when I create A1, normally memory will be allocated for my objects, and based on the number of data members, memory will be allocated, and in this case 4 bytes will be allocated for this, and this is going to get converted into this format, and this statement is going to call the constructor, and this will be done implicitly by the compiler. Now the second statement, which is nothing but this is getting transformed into a reference format. This is what actually happens, or this is what happens beyond our knowledge, or this is going to happen in the background. Okay, so please remember two things. When an object is created, memory will be allocated. At the same time, that statement will get converted into a form where a compiler will call a constructor. So you can see a small example again with constructor. So we have a class with constructor. So we have taken the class name as integer. So we have taken two variables m and n, and look at this. This is what we are talking about. So this is a method or function which has got the same name as your class name. Everything is same. And where this is defined outside the class. So you have to give the class name, you have to give the scope resolution operator, and you have to give the constructor name. And what this constructor does, which is simply assign the values for the data members. What are the data members? M. M is going to get a value of 0 and N also get the same value. So this is what it does. Now I'm going to create an object. I've created an object of class integer. So integer is a class name and int1 is the object name. So when I create an object, what happens? But in this case, this is not going to work because we have created a constructor. Yeah, this is going to work because your constructor will not take any parameter. So when I create an object, so the object will be converted into a constructor called by the compiler we have seen just now, and which is going to assign the values for m and n. The constructor guarantees that an object created by the class will be initialized automatically. So whenever you create an object for the class integer, so we have just created one object which is integer 1. So this gets initialized something like, think that this is your integer 1, where it is having two parts. This is going to be a m and this is going to be a n, and m takes a value 0 and n also gets value 0. This is what done by the constructor, right? Let us see what happens with the statement where we created objects. We have created just one object called int1. So when we create an object, so which gets initialize its data members, and there is no need to write any statement which can invoke the statement. So remember this, we need not write any statement to invoke this constructor. And if a normal function is defined for zero initialization, we would need to invoke this function for each of objects separately. That also you have to remember. So this should be done for each object. But what happened, this is going to be a very inconvenient thing, that you have got hundreds of objects, and for every object you need to initialize the data members and think that there are more data members, so which is going to be very tiresome. This would be very inconvenient if there are large number of objects and data members. The solution is constructor. So normally there are many types of constructors. So we have a default constructor, we have zero argument constructor, we have a constructor with parameters, we have a constructor which we call it as explicit constructor, we have copy constructors. So let us see all this one by one. So let us see the first one, which is a default constructor. So we can see that which does not take any parameter, as the name says, which does not take any parameter. Also, this is known as a zero constructor. So if no constructor is defined in your program, so the compiler is going to supply a default constructor. For example, look at you have a class called let us take clock type and your clock. So clock type is the class name and your clock is the object. So in this case we have not we have just created object, but we have not called the constructor explicitly. If it is not called explicitly, what happened? The constructor called default constructor will come into picture, or we can say that the zero constructor is going to come into picture. So let us see the other one, or before we see the next one, we'll see an example for that. So you can see a class called A. So this is about the class A. In class A, we have a constructor called A, because the class name and constructor should be same. And look at how we define this. So this is what you're seeing here. This is only a prototype, and this is what the constructor definition. Now look at the main program. So main program, we have created an object of the class A1. So as I told before, whenever we create an object of the class, constructor will be called. Now what happened? This statement is going to call the constructor. This is A. So it will come to this, and what this constructor is going to do, what it says, so you have to print a message called constructor of class A. So this message is going to be the first message. So this is nothing but constructor of class A. So it will come to the next line where we are going to get a message end of the program. But it's a constructor without any arguments. Look at this. It does not take any argument. So we call this as zero argument constructor. So this is going to be the output, which is going to print what is there in the constructor. So which is a constructor of class A called, and the next line is going to be the end of the program. So next let us see what is a parameterized constructor. So as the name says, this constructor is going to take parameters. So let us see an example. So we can see again a class called integer, so which is having two data members m and n, and this is what the constructor. Integer is the class name, and which is nothing but the constructor. And look at this bracket is not empty. There are two parameters. So this we call it as the constructor with parameters. Now look at the definition also. So definition also we have to give the class name, scope resolution operator, then you have to give the constructor name with the parameters. So what it does, which is going to assign the values for the data members. So what is, you are going to assign the value for m and n. Now think that for this class I'm going to create an object like this, integer int1. Now what happens, I've created an object int1, but there is no parameter to pass, but we have got a constructor which takes two parameters. And for this special object, or the object we just created, which is int1, for this int1 this constructor will not work. For this only default or zero argument constructor is going to work, because we have a constructor, that is right, but which is parameterized constructor. So let us see so what happened with this. So this can be called, as I told, with a parameterized constructor, but there are two ways I can call this. One is I can call this no, explicitly using this statement. So I can write the class name, then you have to write the no, object name, which is equal to, I can give the constructor name with parameters. So if I do this way, this is known as constructor is called explicitly. There is another way, and that is known as implicit way of calling constructor. So where I don't use the assignment operator, I'll just write the class name, I'll just write the object name, and inside this I'll pass the parameters. So these parameters will be passed to the constructor, where x gets value 10 and y gets value 100. So this x will be assigned to m and y will be assigned to n. In fact, this data members are going to get value as 10 and 100. So this is about parameterized constructor. So let us see another one, which is known as copy constructor. So copy constructor is used to declare an initialize object from another object. We can assign the value of one object to another object by using copy constructor. So let's look at the first example, where we have i2, which is of type integer, and this is going to get the value of object i1. There is another way where we are going to use the copy constructor, where the value of i1 and i2, please do remember these are the objects. So i1's value will be assigned to an object called i2, where, let me repeat, both i1 and i2 are objects. So let us see another case where we have more than one constructor. So you can see a class called integer. So where you can find constructor which does not take any parameter. So there is another constructor which takes two parameters. There is another constructor which takes or we call it as copy constructor. So we can have a class which have more than one constructor. So let us see what happens. So when I declare like this, so look at the first statement. So which is going to invoke the default constructor, and m and n will be assigned to 0. If I call the constructor with two parameters, so which is going to invoke the parameterized constructor, and m and n is going to get value as 20 and 40. If I create an object in this format,